Welcome, everybody, to In Reality. I am one of your esteemed co-hosts, Omar Torres.
I'm your other, equally esteemed co-host, Dominic Maldonado.
Ooh, fancy. We got it this time. You guys are jealous.
So jelly.
Yeah, if your last name is
Williamson.
Williamson
Carter.
or Jones or something like that, you're jealous right now.
Johnson.
I can already tell. I know. I feel it inside of you. But I don't, because that's weird. Anyway, today...
So, are there any gamers out there?
Gamers?
Yes. I hear you. So...
I am one of you guys, as is Dom.
I am your people. We are your people.
We're your people. We're here for you, to console you when Assassin's Creed turns out like crap.
Oh, damn. That was such a shitty movie.
When Prince of Persia comes out.
Oh, what another shitty... Why did they whitewash that shit?
When you watch Mortal Kombat after knowing...
Oh, fuck. You had to take it there.
After knowing that you're not going to enjoy it.
Don't forget about Street Fighters, all them shits.
And a little movie that contains two brothers known as the Super Mario Bros.
Oh, God. Why did they... in retrospect, they really fucked up a lot of video game movies, wouldn't you say?
I would say, and this one,
no, I'd say it leads the pack in video game films, but it misses the mark in features. But compared to its relatives, oh my God, it's
a miracle.
Yeah, it's busting out the gate.
Yeah.
Fucking arms hugging the sleeves. This thing is swole, man.
But sadly, it still is not considered by critics anything more than a flop.
Flop? I say a B-. I wouldn't say a flop.
By critics, it's deemed as a flop. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's probably got about a 30%.
But we're critics. What do we think?
I believe...
What did Omar rate it?
I believe that it is a decent film. I am not going to lie. I'm not one of those critics who's going to sit there and bash it for what it's not. I'm going to look at it for what it is. And I did actually enjoy the film. So we are talking about Warcraft.
World of Warcraft.
No, the movie's called Warcraft.
Based on
the world of
Warcraft.
It's actually not based on the World of Warcraft either. It's based on Warcraft 1, Orcs and Humans.
Ooh.
And that's it's got a whole different universe than than what they call the what's that name?
Warcraft?
No, the canon lore.
Mm.
So it's a little bit different than the canon lore. It's the movie universe lore that they switched up a little bit in order to make it feature worthy.
Oh,
and
so you're saying it's like all the shitty Supermans versus like the Darkest Night DC comic or the New 52.
It's
okay.
like the Star Wars, how Star Wars had all the books come out afterward, and then Disney picked it up and they were like, we're going to make more of these movies, but we can't use all that lore. So we're going to create specific books and things like that are specific to our lore. You guys can read the other stuff, but it's not necessarily
This will not be on the final.
Right.
But as far as video games go, I'm glad that they took the animation route because the live-action video game translations did not seem to be working.
Yeah, they did a lot of CG, and a lot of people weren't happy with the amount of CG, but...
See, you're mad that Toy Story was CG. First off, it's based on a video game that's entirely CG, so
yeah,
get over it. You wish the game looked that good.
Yeah, so it's one of those discussions of, what tools do you have available, what do you think will work, and the filmmakers decided to go with the heavy CG look.
I liked it.
It worked in certain respects. Didn't work in certain respects.
It accentuated the villain, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there were two villains. But, the orc villain,
Yeah.
he was completely badass because the CG allowed him to be this old-ass man and be this hyped-up-ass cocaine addict villain that snorts and smokes green dust. Fucking absinthe or something, dude.
Yeah.
He's like Shang Tsung.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. So full disclosure, I was a World of Warcraft. I wouldn't call myself an addict, but I was an avid player for a little while, and then I've played sporadically throughout. I haven't played in probably 2 years or so, but I was waiting for this movie when they announced it in 2007. I was waiting. And waiting and waiting.
No wonder you say they haven't even announced the other one. You're so fucking upset.
And waiting. I was just waiting my ass off. And it finally came out, and Duncan Jones is the writer-director. Shout out to Duncan Jones. He's a good guy from what I read on Twitter.
Does he own Dunkin' Donuts?
No. He created Moon. He's coming out with a sequel. Quote.
Whoa, he did Moon?
He did Moon, he did Source Code. It's not necessarily a sequel, but it's kind of like an off of...
A spin-off?
Same world type of thing.
No.
With
I fucking
Mute.
loved Moon.
I didn't ever see Moon.
What the fuck is your problem?
He's coming out with Mute.
That already sounds good. I love these single word titles.
Yeah.
Dunkin' Donut Jones. Yeah. It's really good.
But
he's also known as Zoe Bowie. Or Joey Bowie.
He's David Bowie's son.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm not.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm dead serious. David
Duncan,
Bowie.
Zoe, god damn. Well, I felt like his life was always going to be better than ours, and there's no way we were going to catch up to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty young guy already directing,
Rest in peace to your father, man. I'm very sorry. It's very sad. You're definitely doing a great job creating your own legacy and still reflecting his.
Yeah, Dom's listening to this back
God damn.
this backstory, and he's like, I'm not gonna bash this movie anymore. But
I gave it 3 out of 5. It's a B. It's a solid B, man.
But
it's cum laude.
let's get into the movie. So basically, what the story is about. It's two factions, the humans and the orcs, and they're going through their own struggles in order to kind of find themselves as a unit. And
would you say this movie is about slavery, and that is the reality?
I would say there's a decent bit of slavery going on, and
a decent bit.
Well, it's like the orcs feel like they're sort of slaves to this energy, and then they actually take energy from people that they have enslaved.
Yep.
And then
let's call it taxes.
And then the humans are kind of just like doing their own thing, and then they kind of they see this presence disrupting their way of life.
The Force.
Yeah, and so
the Dark Hadol.
Any change in life like that presents its own issues, and so they have to confront those issues, and there are certain members of the human side that see it as an opportunity to strike back and claim their rightful place.
Yeah, so you might, I mean, and any conflicting geographer type histories, you're going to see this happen.
Yeah.
Some group meets up with another, let's say Native Americans, and, I don't know, European settlers in America. I'm not going to say which ones are the orcs and which ones are the humans. If you already decided which was which, you're kind of racist.
You're a racist.
You're a racist.
No, but this is what
the Taino Indians and the Spanish settlers. I'm not going to say which is which, but if you...
And then after that, the Americans and the Spanish.
And what is the green dust? You could say it's tobacco. You could say it's cold hard money cash. You could say it's a lot of things.
You could say it's oil.
Ooh, oh boy, shots fired.
But no, that's one thing I love about the guys at Blizzard, and
shout out Blizzard Games.
Yeah, For real, give me a job, please.
You should talk to my buddy Gary over there. Met him at South by. How you doing, man?
But that's one thing I like about their lore and everything that they do. They have this story to it that's just so. It's on so many different levels, and if you look at all the lore for Warcraft and even some of their other games, you can just see all these little stories that deal with shit that's going on now, and it's just like it's incredible how similar it is to stuff that actually happened. And when they made the Warcraft movie, they wanted to create less a Lord of the Rings fantasy and more a Gladiator, a Braveheart type of film that dealt more with the war between factions and less on the fantasy element.
Yeah, like fantasy was kind of just given for granted. Like, oh yeah, of course we have big ass clubs, and there's a guy that wields magic, and we ride giant ass dire wolves. Don't question it. We're not even going to get into this history.
Yeah,
what you need to be concerned with, all right, is how this orc just had a stillborn son who had to be revived back to life with dark magic. That's conflicting right there. How you going to process that? The same magic that's killing the whole fucking world.
Yeah.
And once he breathes this shit into an orc, he can snatch the life away at any second, and it cripples them.
Yeah.
And kills them. But if he gives it to you, not only do you live, but you thrive. Like after apocalypse, whispers a fucking Bible verse in your ear.
Yeah. Again, roid rage. Just like the other film. But yeah, it's a really they focus more on the characters, and I think that with the time limit that they had, focusing so much on the characters, the main characters,
I like plot. The orc faction story better than I like the humans at all.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it went. It was just like everybody felt so much for the orcs, but the humans just kind of seemed like they were just, all right, let's kick the story up and then back to the orcs. And
yeah. I mean, I felt like we could have just seen a prequel and just kind of left the fucking humans out.
Yeah.
Like, I would have liked to see how their world was more carefully destroyed, and then seeing that lead character, spoiler alert, because he died, how he found himself in a position that he was like, we got to stop him. And, like, finally made up his mind. Like, I would like to see that.
Yeah. It's a rough place to be in as a filmmaker, because it's like, when I look at it and I think, unfortunately, I think of Lord of the Rings, and I think of Peter Jackson and Kong. How he was shopping Lord of the Rings around to all these different studios. I need it to be in 3 films. I needed 3 films. I need 3 films.
And then got so many films.
Yeah, and then he tried to do it. He was like, all right, let me just put it into 1 film so somebody will pick it up. And then whatever studio, I forget which studio picked it up, they were like, this should really be in 3 films. And he's like, yes, thank you. Now, this is the type of story, it's so, like, to introduce so many characters, introduce so much, it's hard to do in 1 film. And with the time limit of a feature film, like 2 hours or whatever, I think it was just over 2 hours.
Because all the fucking Lord of the Rings are 2+. I mean, that should have been closer to like 5 or 6 films.
Yeah, and that's just the theatrical version.
You don't even want to get to reading these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I think the Fellowship is actually a 7-hour film somewhere out there. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Plus
not
the
that
Hobbit.
Not that long, but
they did 2 Hobbits, didn't they? Oh my, they did like 3 Hobbits.
They did 3 Hobbits. I think they're doing
something
like 3 Hobbits.
But
it's a difficult.
This maybe should have been a series, not just like a trilogy series, but like, how would you feel if this was like a streaming series? You know, like in 1 hour or 30-minute blocks.
Hey, don't tell anybody that. I'm thinking about trying to. Trying to rewrite this sucker.
Yeah. What would you call it? Craft War? Would you call it StarCraft? Would you call it Overwatch?
No, I see. The thing is, after watching this movie, there's so many other like side stories in Warcraft. I feel like there's still a really good chance for like a spin-off TV series.
Oh yeah.
And I think it'll work. But like, we're talking about the movie, so
really
that's
good.
just something else.
And seeing the interaction with the humans, like they're actually actively making peace. And then they have not someone, I guess. That's the gimmick of the thing, is this green, absent, stoner energy that just gets you.
Yeah.
They end up infiltrating both sides of the war, and when that happens, no one can really be trusted, and they don't know that yet. So they're